Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Frankfort Village Board. Tonight is Monday, October 21st, 2024. I call this meeting to order and I ask our clerk, Katie Schubert, to call the roll, please.
Mayor Ogle,
Here.
Trustee Ledden,
Here.
Trustee Savaria,
Here.
Trustee Rigoni,
Here.
Trustee Petro,
Here.
Trustee Borelli, Trustee Rossi,
Here.
Attorney Lamore,
Present.
Chief Chalepis,
Here.
Assistant Administrator Barika,
Present.
Village Administrator Pisha,
Here.
and Clerk Schubert is here. We have quorum, Mayor.
Thank you, clerk. If everyone would please rise and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on here is what's called the unanimous consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are routine in nature and will be enacted in one single motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member so requests, in which event that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. At this time, I ask if any of the trustees would like to remove any items from the consent agenda. Hearing none, can I get a motion and a second to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Trustee Savaria, a second by Trustee Petro. We'll be going through these items so that those in the audience, as well as those who would be watching this later on video or on YouTube, know what the Village Board is voting on. These packets are available on the Village Board website, frankfortil.org. So the first item on here was the approval of the meeting minutes from the October 7th, 2024 meeting. And then we'll go to Trustee Petro for the approval of the bills.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight, we have a disbursement from the General Corporate Fund in the amount of $118,485.68, a disbursement from the Capital Development Fund of $3,151,775.70, a disbursement from the Sewer and Water Operating and Maintenance Fund, $97,460.40, the Sewer and Water Extension Fund disbursement of $40,485.27. The total for tonight's disbursements is $3,408,207.05. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. We have two items from the Committee of the Whole, both financial items, which are really good news here. And first one, we'll go to Trustee Savaria.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next item is the fiscal year 2024 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, Acceptance of Report. The Annual Comprehensive Financial Report of the Village of Frankfort for fiscal year ended April 30th, 2024 has been completed. The village is required to publish a complete set of audited financial statements within 6 months of the close of the fiscal year. The report includes the village's financial statement presented in conformity with general accepted accounting principles. The report serves several purposes, including providing transparency and accountability to the public, aiding the corporate authorities in assessing financial health and making budgetary decisions, and demonstrating compliance with financial regulations and reporting standards. Lauterbach and Amann, LLP, a firm of licensed certified public accountants in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, has issued an unmodified, clean opinion of the village's financial statements for the year ended April 30th, 2024. For the past 34 consecutive years, the village has received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Governmental Finance Officers Association. At the Committee of the Whole meeting held on October 9th, 2024, Lauterbach and Amann Representative Matt Baran presented the information from the audit to the village's corporate authorities. It was a consensus of the committee to forward a recommendation to the village board to accept the fiscal year 2024 annual comprehensive financial report as presented. The motion before us is to accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole and accept the Village of Frankfort's annual comprehensive financial report for fiscal year ended April 30th, 2024.
All right. Thank you, Trustee Savaria. And for the second item on here, we will go to Trustee Rigoni.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item is for Lauterbach and Amann LLP Letter of Engagement Auditing Services Resolution. At its October 9, 2024 meeting, the Committee of the Whole reviewed a letter of engagement for Lauterbach and Amann LLP for professional auditing services for the next 5 fiscal years. The contract may be terminated by either party with written notice by the first of the year for the upcoming audit. The services provided will be an audit report with the beginning estimate of beginning April of 2025 at $26,000 and then increasing to April of 2029 to $28,800. And then if required, a single audit at a cost of April of 2025 at $3,650, increasing April 30th of 2029 at $3,950. It was the consensus of the committee to forward a recommendation to the village board to award a 5-year auditing service contract to Lauterbach and Amann LLP as presented. The motion before us is to accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole and adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of the letter of engagement for a 5-year auditing services contract between the Village of Frankfort and Lauterbach and Amann LLP for the fiscal years ending in April 30th, 2025, April 30th, 2026, April 30th, 2027, April 30th, 2028, and April 30th, 2029.
Thank you, Trustee Rigoni. Those are all the items on the consent agenda tonight. We have a motion and a second, and we will go to our clerk, Katie Schubert, for the vote, please.
Trustee Savaria?
Yes.
Trustee Rigoni?
Yes.
Trustee Petro?
Yes.
Trustee Rossi?
yes,
Trustee Ledden?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, clerk. Next item on here is what's called the mayor's report. The Village of Frankfort is currently accepting applications for appointment to the Plan Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals. Residents who live in the Village of Frankfort who wish to submit applications for consideration of the Plan Commission appointment are encouraged to do so. The applications are available at the Village Administration Building here or at the Village website at frankfortil.org. The deadline for the application submittals is October 25th at 2 p.m. The Village's annual curbside leaf pickup begins today, October 21st, and continues through November 25th. Residents are reminded to rake leaves onto the parkway just inside the edge of the curb. Please avoid raking or blowing leaves into the street or near storm drains, as this can cause flooding issues. Homewood Disposal Service will continue yard waste and branch pickup through November. Bundles and yard waste bags do require a yard waste sticker for pickup by Homewood Disposal. We'd like you to join our Village of Frankfort and our Frankfort Public Library for a night of spooky stories and hocus pocus this Friday, October 25th on Brighter Green. This is a new event, and it'll feature some not-so-spooky stories from 6 to 7, followed by Mr. D's Magic and Illusion Show from 7 to 8 o'clock. There's lights and music and everything that goes with this. This is a lot of fun, very family-friendly, and costumes are encouraged. The Frankfort Police Department will host its annual Safety Trunk or Treat Halloween event on Saturday, October 26th, this Saturday coming up, from 10 a.m. to noon at the Brighter Green parking lot in downtown Frankfort. The E.F. Bucko Costume Parade will kick off the event at 10 a.m., followed by the Trunk or Treat. Local businesses and organizations will pass out candy and trinkets to the children from their decorated vehicles, their trunks, for this family-friendly event. This is a great event, again. Make a day of it. You're going to get all this candy, but also make sure you stop in, shop at the shops, and make some reservations with the restaurants to have a beautiful day out. And I think the weather's supposed to be fantastic again. Our Frankfort Country Market ends its 2024 season on Sunday, October 27th. It seems like we just cut the ribbon for that just a week ago. But it's gone by. The summer's gone. The village extends its thanks to all the vendors, to our residents, and also to all the visitors for another very, very successful season. Official trick-or-treat hours for the village are 4 o'clock until 7 o'clock on Thursday, October 31st. Just wanted to do a quick recap on the Scary at the Prairie, the costumed race. Again, this was the largest attendance we've had yet. I think there were almost 300 people that signed up for this race, families in costume. It was a lot of fun. My favorite, I think, is the 100-yard dash, the enthusiasm and the costumes, and just it was a really great event. So make sure you don't miss that coming up next year. And last thing I just wanted to mention too, the month of October, the 1st through the 31st, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and make sure you get checked. We love you, and we want to make sure that you're around for a long time. That's it for me for the mayor's report tonight, and we'll go to Katie Schubert with board comments.
Thank you, Mayor. Two things tonight. Early voting has started here at Village Hall, so that will continue this week and next week, Monday through Friday, from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. here for residents of Frankfort. Other early voting locations are available at willcountyclerk.gov. And our next meeting is November 4th, and will also be our first meeting in business attire. And that's all I had tonight.
Thank you, Clerk. Trustee Ledden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to commend Rob and his team for the financial audit report. Another great effort, and I think we'll be looking at 35 years in a row. Jenny Booth does a fantastic job as finance director, and I appreciate all of your efforts, both as a member of the board and as a resident of the village. So thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Trustee Savaria.
No comment tonight.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Rigoni.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I would like to thank all of village staff as anyone all involved in Scary on the Prairie. It was a lot of fun. We had great weather. It's fun to see everyone come out in costume. Even myself, went out of my element and dressed up as well, so it was a great time. I would like to also echo the audit as well. I'd like to thank staff, not only my fellow board members or those who sat here before us and built the foundation of a strong sound financial, so thank you so much. I also like to kind of highlight as we go through and even looking at some of the bills in that, there's been a lot that we've done, and it's fun to drive around town and see what's happening, whether it's a village project such as the playground or the Well 18. If you're down the south end of Elsner, that's a new drinking water treatment plant that's underway. Driving by, and Planet Fitness is currently beginning the interior work, which is going to bring even more, as well as new employees here, as well as then some of our tried and true businesses that have been here. Curry Motors, who is currently underway and almost completing their expansion, and that is someone who's been a staple in our community. Many of their employees live here, as well as then those shop here as well. So I'd like to kind of highlight and also bring back, it's great to see projects, whether village projects or business projects and residents that have come to fruition after our approval. And that's it, Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Rigoni. Trustee Petro.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too just wanted to encourage everyone who is interested in getting involved, and if you are curious about the Plan Commission, reach out. I think 4 of the current trustees served as Plan Commissioners, and such a great opportunity to get to know your local government, the ordinances, and be able to serve in your community. So excited to see those applications come in. I did see the leaf collection vehicle out today already, so I just wanted to thank our Public Works for all that they do. Frank the Tank, I've seen him out and about town, keeping the roads nice and clean, and picking up the leaves and branches definitely keeps our town looking as nice as we all want it to. And I wanted to wish everyone an early happy Halloween. It looks like we're going to have a much warmer Halloween this year, and looking forward to seeing not only the trunk or treat, but all the trick-or-treaters out. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Rossi.
I have no comment tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, well, thank you. Is there any other business to come before our board tonight? All right. This is the part that called public comments. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to come forward before the board tonight and make a comment. Paul?
My name is Paul DeCostola. I live at 106 Caffel Court. And I just wanted to talk a minute about one of the items that was on the agenda for the Committee of the Whole from October 9th. And I want to start by touching base on an item that was on the Committee of the Whole agenda back on March 13th of this year. and it was regarding the temporary closure of Kansas Street between Oak and Ash for outdoor dining. And in the minutes from that meeting, it said, committee members asked about the village's progression regarding the potential permanent closure of Kansas Street between Oak Street and Ash Street to vehicular traffic. Members commented on the uncertainty of the impacts stemming from the influx of new development in the historic district. Members felt it was important to start brainstorming ideas to create a community space that would be utilized throughout the year and to collect data to inform their decision-making process before considering the permanent closure of Kansas Street. Okay? Now, I thought that Brighter Green was a community space that could be utilized throughout the year. But getting back to the October 9th meeting, which was really 12 days ago, again, the item was the Kansas Street discussion. And once again, discussion of Kansas Street closure was before the Committee of the Whole. All seemed to be in agreement that the temporary closure of Kansas Street was a success in creating an inviting outdoor dining space for the 3 restaurants downtown on Kansas Street. And yet, once again, some committee members expressed interest in the permanent closure of Kansas Street between Oak and Ash Streets. Again, as with the March 13th meeting, at the October 9th meeting, there were no compelling ideas presented which would justify making the Kansas Street closure necessary outside of the outdoor dining season. I recall one member floating the idea of an ice skating rink, but other than that, nothing. And yet, at the end of the meeting, it sounded as though the next plan is to form a committee or task force to study the plan further. Also at the October 9th meeting, one of my neighbors who lives down the street on Elwood spoke during public comments. And he eloquently stated that as a downtown resident of over 40 years, he would like to see Kansas Street closed only during the outdoor dining season, and that it should remain open to traffic the rest of the year. He noted that seeing Kansas Street reopen during the late fall, winter, and early spring months contributed greatly to the small town feel, charm, and ambience of the downtown. I couldn't agree more. So, after sitting through the March 13th and October 9th Committee of the Whole meetings, it's clear to me that the Committee of the Whole has still been unable to articulate a coherent vision in which it would be necessary or beneficial to the community to close Kansas Street to vehicular traffic permanently. And that's after 7 months of brainstorming. So I think we could all agree that closing Kansas Street temporarily during the outdoor dining season makes sense. But permanently, to me, it's no way. And here's 5 reasons why the permanent closure of Kansas Street is a bad idea. 1, it'll restrict traffic flow even more in the downtown business district. 2, it will result in fewer on-street parking spaces in the downtown business district. 3, it'll restrict emergency vehicle access to the businesses on that part of Kansas Street. 4, it doesn't seem fair to the other businesses on Kansas Street west of Oak Street. And then 5, nobody has been able to articulate a clear need why the closure needs to be permanent. My suggestion is to designate an outdoor dining season for a temporary closure of Kansas Street and to reopen Kansas Street during the colder months. I would consider installing impact-resistant, removable bollards for closing off the street temporarily. This will provide protection to the outdoor diners from vehicular traffic. It will look more pleasing to the eye than concrete barriers and can be removed by village staff at the end of the outdoor dining season. I suspect that there are a lot more residents who would be opposed to who would be opposed to permanently closing Kansas Street if they were aware that it was even being contemplated. Hopefully, as more residents become aware, they will voice their opposition to that plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Is there anyone else who would like to come before the board for public comment tonight? All right. Hearing no further public comment, can I get a motion and a second to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion by trustee Petro, second by trustee Ledden. All those in favor say aye.
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 Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.